think that the black Americans have been the only real diehard Americans here, because we're the only ones who carried the process through the process. That everyone else has to sort of like skip stages. We're the ones who marched, we're the ones who carried the Bible, we're the ones who carried the flag, we're the ones who tried to go through the courts. And being born American didn't seem to matter. Because we were born Americans, but we still had to fight for what we were looking for. And we still had to go through those channels and those processes.
I don't really care what you have to say. Facts over fiction is the motto replay. Muhammad Ali came up from the clay. Grassroots built up this USA. Now knowing your history, you'll get played. Equip yourself cause you came to slay any opponent that's up in our way. Look at Malcolm X and his deliberate.
Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Making sure that my audio is good. Okay, my audio is good and we are ready to go. All right, let's make this happen, everyone. Everyone's having a good day today. We're going to be talking about the color of wealth gap in Tulsa, Oklahoma. This is a report that was done, don't quote me, maybe about 5-6 years ago. So wanted to read it because for those that don't know, there's some reparations talk, quote unquote reparations talk that's happening right now in Tulsa with the mayor of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And so I wanted to actually, to see what this wealth report actually had to say about Tulsa. So thanks everyone for joining. Really appreciate you. And for those that didn't celebrate Juneteenth, hopefully you did celebrate Juneteenth, but we actually do have some footage that we're going to be releasing this week. We had a chance, even in the mass media group, had a chance to go down to Southern California, to Allensworth, and had a great time down there. So I want to thank our good sisters of the Reparations Project down there in Oakland for inviting us. Let me see if I can pull up. Do I have any? Let me see if I have a. See, I don't think I have. No, actually, unfortunately, I don't have. Here, let me see if I can get it real quick. The cover here. And then we will go on with the read. And then just have some more housekeeping to do, and then we'll get into it. So we visited Allensworth. So this is the cover here. And so we're going to be posting a couple of videos this week. So yes, happy belated Juneteenth to everyone. You guys had a wonderful event on Emancipation Day, a federal holiday now recognized here in America. All right, so if you do have a chance, please go to etmmediagroupstore.com, etmmediagroupstore.com to get your latest merch. It should be down in the description. If you have yet to check out reparationsnowdoc.com, or you can check us the video out, Reparations Now, on Tubi. All right, and upcoming, actually tomorrow, the CLBC is going to be presenting their bill, which is a research bill. So hopefully we're going to be streaming that tomorrow. So definitely come check that out. We did have a show this Sunday going over the bill. So it's on our YouTube channel. You can go ahead and check out the read that we did. And here's the cover tomorrow. SB 437, that's Weber Pearson, who is the lead chair of the CLBC. It's going to be the Higher Education Committee. That's Tuesday, June 24th, 2025 at 1:30 p.m. So if you are located near Sacramento, California, please come through. Especially if you do oppose the bill, if you do support it, well, that's your opinion too as well. But let's go ahead and actually, you know what? We're just going to go to this call of action real quick here. So go to, if you see the barcode there at the bottom, there's a call to action for our CJEC, Coalition for Just and Equitable California. Just click on that barcode and it should take you a call to action to vote no on SB 437. All right. And we also did a video on where's the apology plaque. So my partner Kim and I, we went up to the Capitol to see where this plaque is and couldn't find it, but we actually did our due diligence to look for it. So that's on our YouTube page as well. All right, family, give me a quick second and I will be right back. All right, we are back. All right, and this is a little off topic, but yes, I'm also an author. Well, first-time author. And I am doing a book that's actually out of my zone, my normal zone. I know we've been doing a lot of political education on this channel, but yes, I'm trying something different. So I really appreciate everybody's support in this endeavor. You can actually go on to Amazon, get the pre-order on Kindle, but the book is actually coming out in August. More information will be available at a later date, but I also do have a YouTube channel at MrUncomfortable.com, so go ahead and check that out as well. All right, family, so today, once again, we're going to be reading Oil and Blood, The Color of Wealth in Tulsa, Oklahoma report. We're going to be here probably about another 20 minutes. I'm going to try to get these segments in about a half an hour. So we're going to be doing a marathon read this whole week. I'm going to try to start at 8 p.m. sharp because I know time is of value for everybody. So definitely appreciate your time and your feedback. If you have any comments, please leave it at the bottom or send us an email at etmmediagroup@gmail.com. If you have any questions about this report or anything regarding reparations in the nation or anything in particular here in California as well. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, hopefully everybody can see my screen and can hear me. So let me get this down a little bit more, okay. All right. All right, here we go. Oil and Blood, The Color of Wealth in Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right, I'm just being a little paranoid right here. I just really got to check it because, you know, since I'm the only one doing this read here, I got to make sure that we're good on audio. Really got to check it because... All right, we are good. Okay. Black Magic Mike, what's up, bro? Ain't seen you in a minute. Glad you came through. Yeah, one of these days, man, we got to get out to Tulsa, bro, like, or Oklahoma, for real, for real. I think I had some relatives, some ancestors coming out of Kansas, maybe even Oklahoma. So I definitely got to go back for sure. All right, so let's go. Oil and Blood, the Color of Wealth in Tulsa, Oklahoma. All right, let's see. A publication of the Samuel Dubois Cook Center on Social Equity at Duke University, November 2021. All right, some of the acknowledgments here on the research team. From University of Oklahoma, we have June Lee, Randall Aki, UCLA, Rafi E. Garcia, looks like at Duke University, Lauren Russell at Harvard. We have Jorge or George Zumiata, Florida International University, and our good brother, Dr. William Sandy Darity, out of Duke University. Shout out to Dr. Sandy Darity. For those that don't know, he has a wonderful book out there right now. And people in the chat, for some reason, I'm drawing a blank. Here, let me look it up. Let's see, Dr. Sandy Darity book. Can't believe I'm drawing From Here to Equality, Reparations for Black Americans. All right, so definitely check out From Here to Equality if you have not. All right. All right. Study participants, the city of Tulsa citizens who gave their time and shared the knowledge and experiences to inform this report. So thank you, everyone who did participate in this. We greatly appreciate you. You know what? Since we try to be as thorough as possible, let's just kind of go over this. So the contents: abstract, executive summary. Going to be going with the introduction, Tulsa, history and origins of racial differences, current demographics, economic characteristics in Tulsa, methodology, NASCC telephone surveys, analysis, wealth and income disparities, implications and conclusions, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Abstract. The study serves as the final contribution to the Color of Wealth Report series that surveys the economic well-being of people of color in 6 major cities in the United States: Miami, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Boston, and Tulsa. In this report, we focus on the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we estimate wealth and income gaps between Blacks, whites, and specific Native American tribes: Cherokee, Muskogee Creek, mixed tribal affiliation, and other tribes. We then contextualize these results within the historical narrative of Tulsa, and we compare the ethnic racial gaps in Tulsa to other cities in the Color of Wealth Report series. We use novel data from the National Asset Scorecard for Communities of Color survey, which collected detailed information about respondents' specific assets, liabilities, financial resources, and personal savings and investment activity at the household level for various subpopulations according to race, ethnicity, and county of origin. We find statistically significant lower levels of wealth for Blacks, Hispanics, and Muskogee when compared to whites. The largest of these gaps is between Blacks and whites, and driven mainly by differences in rates of home ownership and entrepreneurship. Furthermore, we find that a greater portion of the wealth gap between whites and Blacks is unexplained than for any other racial ethnic group when controlling for demographic and other household characteristics. These results are consistent with conditions where Blacks in Tulsa have faced exceptionally high levels of historical discrimination, intentional destruction of assets in Black communities, which cannot be disentangled from race and cannot be accounted for in observable characteristics. All right, so we're just going to put a pause on that real quick. Got to handle something, and I will be right back. All right, everyone, we are back. We are back ready to go. And as usual, just got to check my audio, just make sure we're good. All right, everyone, we are good. Okay, executive summary. The city of Tulsa became an economic power hub at the turn of the 20th century due to the discovery of oil fields right across the Arkansas River in 1897. By the 1920s, Tulsa was referred to as the oil capital of the world. This boom created economic prosperity across multiple racial ethnic groups, including the Black entrepreneurs that took advantage of this period of growth. While the oil boom led to economic gains for all racial ethnic groups, the 1921 Tulsa massacre directly destroyed the gains achieved by Black Tulsans. During the massacre, white mobs destroyed 35. Sorry, I just had to pause real quick. White mobs destroyed 35 blocks of businesses and homes in the thriving Greenwood district. The massacre resulted in an estimated 300 deaths and almost 10,000 displaced persons. One of the lasting impacts, aside from death and physical violence, was the dismantling and destruction of wealth and assets within the Black community in Tulsa. Restitution has never been made for the survivors or their descendants, nor has anyone ever been punished. Albright estimate that this massacre resulted in a long-term decline in Black home ownership and occupational status that has persisted through today. Using novel data from the National Asset Scorecard for Communities of Color, that's NASCC survey, we investigate the financial health of Tulsa households across all racial ethnic groups today, a century after the Tulsa massacre. We document income disparities among racial ethnic groups in Tulsa. Our survey weighted estimates of annual households income and earnings level for racial ethnic groups in Tulsa are the following. Whites, 69,172. 36,325. Blacks, 38,206. 20,530. Hispanics, 43,772. 33,093. Cherokees, 87,127. 41,566. Muskogee, 47,059. 32,755. Other tribes, 55,740. 49,335. And individuals who self-identified as Native American but have no tribal affiliation, 77,411. 39,464. Our results suggest that the 1921 Tulsa massacre and its destruction had a long-term effect on wealth accumulation for Black Tulsans. We find significant racial wealth inequality in Tulsa. We estimate the survey weighted mean wealth levels for each of the racial ethnic groups in Tulsa: whites 232,560, blacks 19,033, Hispanics 73,975, Cherokees 172,292, Muskegees 66,438, other tribes 172,611, and individuals with mixed or no tribal affiliation 281,613. When compared against whites, we find statistically significant lower levels of wealth only for blacks, Hispanics, and the Muskegee, with the largest disparity between blacks and whites. When comparing Tulsa to other NASCC cities that did not experience destruction at the level of the Tulsa massacre, such as Boston, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, and Miami, we find that Tulsa has the largest black-white wealth and income gaps. In Tulsa, blacks have only 9% of the wealth of whites compared to Washington, D.C., 28%, Los Angeles, 34%, Boston, 36%, In Miami, 41%. For household income, only Los Angeles has a greater black wealth gap than Tulsa, 36% versus 53%. The City of Angels. All right. The 1921 Tulsa massacre destroyed many black-owned businesses and homes. Today, we find that differences in assets mainly drive racial ethnic wealth disparities in Tulsa. In particular, we find that the wealth gap between blacks and whites is driven by differences in rates of entrepreneurship and home ownership between the two groups. In our sample, the gaps in the rates of home ownership and entrepreneurship are 38 percentage points and 12 percentage points, respectively, compared to other NASCC cities. Tulsa has the largest home ownership rate gap. In contrast, the entrepreneurship rates of blacks and whites in the other NASCC cities are generally similar for both groups, with the exception of Miami. Our analysis of household assets shows differences between black and white households with respect to home, vehicle, and business equity, balances in checking, savings, and money market accounts, and investments in stocks, mutual funds, and investment trusts. The largest gap is for home equity, with an estimated differential of $66,010, followed by differences in the total balance of their checking, savings, and money market accounts at $50,695. The value of investment in stock, mutual funds, and investment trust at $27,749, and business equity at $26,632. In the cases of Hispanics and Native American households, we find, generally speaking, a statistically significant gap for home equity, but not for any other type of assets. Our household liabilities or debt analysis, including credit cards, installment loans, student loans, medical debt, and debt to friends and relatives, finds that generally racial ethnic groups in Tulsa behave similarly regarding debt accumulation and display similar debt levels. Given the existence of racial wealth and income gaps between whites and blacks, whites and Hispanics, and whites and Muskogee, our findings suggest that relative to whites, blacks, Hispanics, and Muskogee households tend to be more indebted. The 1921 Tulsa massacre affected the black entrepreneurial ecosystem in Tulsa. Today, our findings show that Tulsa households with entrepreneurs outperform households made out of employees only in terms of wealth building. We find compelling results that entrepreneurs in the long run tend to generate relatively more wealth, household income, and earnings compared to households without entrepreneurs. The relative gaps are 611,454, 54,271, and 24,179, respectively. Not surprisingly, we find that entrepreneurial households have higher home ownership rates, 91% versus 67%, are more highly educated, 52 versus 20% holding a BA degree or higher, are more likely to be married, and more likely to be born in the US. Additionally, we find statistical significance for the gaps for home equity at 67,138, other real estates 100,528, vehicle equity 8,780, business equity 210,571, and the total balance of checking, savings, and money market accounts 81,138. Let's see. In terms of liabilities, we find that employee households tend to have, on average, larger installment loan debt gap of $781 and medical debt gap of $2,349. These findings highlight the importance of entrepreneurship in the accumulation of wealth and highlight that creating the right set of incentives for asset building through entrepreneurship can help decrease the wealth and income equality in Tulsa. The decomposition analysis find that a greater portion of the wealth gap between whites and blacks is unexplained, 90%, than for any other racial ethnic group after controlling for age, education, gender, and marital status. We interpret the statistically significance of the unexplained component as evidence of historical and contemporary discrimination faced through various markets. In terms of the black-white household income gap, we find that 69% is unexplained, leaving only 31% explained by age, education, gender, and marital status. We also find that 93% of the earning gap is unexplained. Our robustness check for the white black wealth and income decompositions find that adding wealth driver covariates such as household income or covariates such as household income, home ownership, inheritance, and incarceration exposure individually and jointly to our baseline model does not change our results. Generally speaking, the explained component remains mostly insignificant. Two possible explanations for this are that observable characteristics alone cannot explain differences in wealth among black and white households. Our results show increasing support for the argument that unexplained factors such as discrimination, prejudice, or racial bias, systemic or not, play a critical role in driving the black-white wealth gap in Tulsa. The second takeaway is that we cannot disentangle the racial wealth gap from the multifaceted gaps in wealth and its drivers. In other words, once compared by dividing into the subgroups of white and black households, as done in the blinder Oaxaca decomposition, covariates with strong racial correlation will not add much to explaining the gap. All right, so we are going to stop there. That looks like, what was that on page 4 or something like that? Yeah, so we're going to stop there and continue tomorrow. I think we're streaming on YouTube and Twitter, but I think we're going to just continue over here on YouTube. So if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please come over to our YouTube page. You can find us at EMEN, the Mass Media Group. Just type that into the YouTube. Come over, subscribe, and let's build. All right. So, but before we go, I want to see who is in the chat. So thanks everybody for coming. What's up, Donnie? Shout out as always. Peace to you. Fabados. Freed Peace reposted this stream. Thank you very much, Freed Peeps. We always appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you, Black Magic. Hey, bro, if you're listening to this, please send me your email. All right, at etnmediagroup@gmail.com. Please send me your email, because if we come out to Oklahoma, where I think you're at, and we ain't got nowhere to contact you, all right? So if you have a chance, please send me your email. All right, I cannot listen tonight because I have to get to bed. I can't wait to read this with you. I already downloaded it. Wonderful. All right, thank you very much. All right, brother, you have a wonderful night. But if you do hear this on the replay, please hit us up. All right, family. What's up, Miss Kim? Thanks for coming. Always appreciate you. All right, family. So we are going to stop there because we are at the half-hour mark. I told myself that I was going to be as disciplined as possible and get a hard out. All right. So we will be back tomorrow. And for those that don't know, we are working on Reparations Now, the documentary part 2. It's going to be called, subtitled, The Betrayal. And the CLBC is front and dead center in this whole debacle that's happening right now here in California. We have a couple more interviews to do, and we want to see what happens actually at the end of this legislation session. See what's going to happen, because right now, this bill, SB 437, is basically going to be kicking the can down the road for these reparations. Now, this bill probably, in theory, should be housed underneath the other bill, SB 518, because they also have a genealogy section in there. But it's not. This is a so-called standalone separate bill on the face of it. So once again, come to, or I think we should be streaming it on our YouTube page tomorrow at 1:30. So if you don't have a chance to watch it live, understand, check out the replay. And once again, go ahead and hit that call to action with our good family Coalition for Just and Equitable California. So everybody have a wonderful night tonight. I think we learned a little something, but we're going to keep digging into this as we go. And happy belated Juneteenth, everyone. Take care of you, yourself, and your family. And on that note, and as always, peace and reparations, and we'll see you next time.
The way it currently stands, forced labor, slavery takes precedence over rehabilitation and public safety.
Oh, by the way, while the Biden administration gives reparations to everyone but free people, look at the billions he has run over to Ukraine.
We don't have black grocery stores because if you think about it now, just to get in that supply chain, it's almost unheard of.
They don't want the truth to get out. Okay? I don't want to know what my family did or what all these people did and all this stuff like that. Okay? You read that 500-page report.
There's this thing called white superiority and black inferiority. That mindset allows all of the behaviors that we've seen across generations, allows for the construction of these policies and practices and systems and structures that continue to oppress us. This is not a handout. This is a debt that is owed.
You know, Allensworth was like the internet of his time in 1904, 1905.
The total black population in California is about 2.6 million. And then of that, the descendants compose about 2.2 million of that. So California, with a multi-billion-dollar surplus, can absolutely afford to satisfy the international terms for reparations, beginning with compensation.
Any financial obstacle that exists that impedes the success of increasing financial prosperity needs to be dealt with and eliminated.
No matter where we've been, no matter what part of this fight we've been in, we've been harmed, and we've had harm done to us specifically.
When I got to Los Angeles, this was some of the worst segregation I'd ever seen. And remember, I'm telling you, I'm from Mississippi.
Because as you can see, I'm giving you broken history right now, you know? But I had to give it to you guys today. I said, no, I got to show them this because it's so precious and nobody really knows about it.
Black people don't have that kind of luxury. Our historically black communities have been redistricted multiple times.
Now listen, if you can't handle the TR roof, don't tune in.